Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Brawl Stars video, and today we're going to talk about the 10 new gadgets coming to Brawl Stars over the next 10 weeks. I'm going to rank them based on which ones you should get, which ones are the best, and we'll start from worst going all the way to the best gadget. So in last place, I'm going to put Shelly's gadget, and this is the gadget where you can reduce the width of your next attack, and it's going to extend the range by a huge amount. So essentially you have this high power snipe shot that you can use with Shelly. And while it sounds kind of interesting and pretty fun to use, it doesn't seem to be that great in terms of damage. I mean, you're only doing just over 2,000 damage a shot, so you might get one shot where you're able to hit 2,000 damage on someone, but Piper can do that with every single one of her shots. I don't see too much value that can be gained from doing this with Shelly. Obviously, if someone's running away with low health, it's going to be great to get that guaranteed high damage off on them. But in most situations, I don't think it's going to be that valuable. You do have to hit your shot on top of that, so if you miss, you've completely just wasted the gadget there. And I think her other gadget that lets her dash forward, while it's a very short dash, has a lot of uses to get close to enemies that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get close to defend the goal in Brawl Ball, to just run away when you need to. So I definitely think the second gadget is going to be a lot worse. Next up is Barley, and he's going to throw a healing potion to every one of his teammates as well as himself, and these are going to heal 500 damage per second in their radius that they splash down in. And I think this will be pretty decent in a lot of the 3v3 modes. You're all taking your own lane and fighting your opponent, and just that extra boost of health might be pretty helpful, especially in those really heavily laned siege maps where you can't really interact with your teammates too much. Being able to have that gadget that lets you heal them up when you want to, I think is going to be pretty useful. But it's really only 500 damage per second, and it's only in a small radius, and if they're already at low health and you're trying to heal them, your opponent can just try to pressure them forward and go after them, and they're going to have to retreat. And if they're retreating, they're not staying in the healing radius. So I think it's going to be hard to really get a lot of value out of this gadget. Next up is Piper. And so with her gadget, her next shot is going to be a homing shot. So it's going to curve in a specific direction to hit whatever is closest to her bullet. And in doing this, I think it actually increases the range of her attack because it will home in on someone that's farther away than her normal range. So I definitely think this is a pretty good gadget. Having that guaranteed hit, or at least pretty much guaranteed, is going to be very, very useful in a lot of situations. It just has an insane range, so people aren't going to be able to run away. The only reason I put it down this low is just because her other gadget is also really, really good right now. It complements her super far ranged attack well. If anyone manages to get close to her, she can deny that and push them back, slow them down, and it lets her get back to where she is good at that long range. So I think it's really useful for her kit, and that's why I don't think people are going to play this homing gadget as much, but I do think it will see some play. I think it's a pretty good gadget and definitely useful in a lot of situations. Next up is El Primo. So he's going to summon a meteor to his location that will drop down in a couple seconds, and in the Brawl Talk, it looked like it dealt 2,000 damage, and it also breaks walls, pushes people back, all the good stuff that normal meteors do. And this just seems fairly standard. I'm pretty sure it takes a while for the meteor to fall, so that's kind of a big drawback, is that it's not instant damage and pushback, which is really nice to have in a gadget. So that's why I put it down this low. Breaking walls can be nice in certain situations, but overall, I don't think this gadget is that great. I think it'll definitely see some play though, because his other gadget that throws the enemies behind you isn't really good in any mode other than Brawl Ball. So I definitely think it will see that play, but overall, I don't think it's a great gadget. Next up is Crow. So when he uses his gadget, anyone who he has poisoned is going to be slowed down for 3.5 seconds. And I think this is huge. I think it's a really good gadget. Just thinking of modes like Gem Grab, if they got all the gems on their team, their starting countdown, as long as you can just hit a couple of your shots on them, activate your gadget, everyone's going to be slowed down, and then you should be able to easily get close to them and kill them. I think it's going to be insane in that mode. Same with Bounty if you're trying to target down people with a lot of stars. But while it's a really, really good gadget, Crow's other gadget is just insanely broken right now. Having a 60% shield whenever you want is just so good when combined with Crow's super. He can jump in on anyone he wants and take virtually no damage from doing that. So his second gadget is super good, but his first gadget is just even better, and I think people are going to prefer that gadget in a lot of modes, though I think this will see some play in modes like I was talking about, Gem Grab and Bounty. Next up is Jessie, and using her second gadget will double the attack speed of her turret for 3 seconds. And I think that's really, really solid, especially if you have the shocky star power. Once it starts hitting someone, there's just going to be so many of these shock bullets coming out, and it's going to be near impossible to dodge. And every time you get hit by them, it just goes in a different direction. It's even more unpredictable. So I think this gadget can be pretty useful. I think in Heist, it's going to be really, really good because Scrappy, her turret with the shocky star power, is already really, really dangerous on the safe. It has a super high DPS, and being able to double that for for 3 seconds, it's going to be a huge threat in Heist. People are going to really need to focus more on the Jessies because their turrets are just going to wreck the safe, and if you get anywhere near it, the Shocky star power is just going to kill you as well. So I think that's going to be the main mode where this gadget is used, because her other gadget is also really, really good. Having that slowdown effect with the huge radius comes in clutch just so many times, but I definitely think this gadget is almost as good, if not better. Then next we have Dynamike, and his gadget is going to make his next attack stun the enemy, and it actually stuns them for a full 3 seconds, which is a huge amount of stun time. And if they're stunned for 3 seconds, you basically just have a free kill on them. As long as you know that you stun them, you can just auto aim the rest of your attacks, and they're guaranteed going to hit your opponent because they're stunned and can't move. So that's just a huge amount of damage you're dealing, and it will basically kill pretty much every brawler if you hit that stun. But that's the main drawback of this attack, is that you have to hit your next attack in order for that stun to take place. And Dynamike is notoriously difficult to hit consistently on your opponents because it takes so much time before they explode, so it's pretty easy for your opponent to react and dodge them. So if this was basically any other brawler that stunned them for 3 seconds when you hit your attack, this would by far be like the most broken gadget in the game. But because it's so hard to hit your attacks with Dynamike, I moved it down a couple spots. It's a very high risk, high reward gadget, and I'm excited to see it in battle. It's certainly better than what he currently has with Fidget Spinner, which has been buffed like 3 times, so maybe it'll be decent now, but I think this gadget is going to provide a lot more value. Next up, we have Penny, and when you use Penny's gadget with your turret active, the turret is going to shoot out a barrage of bombs, and they're all going to rain down on Penny's location. I'm pretty sure there are going to be 5 bombs that spawn in a sort of X shape, and the best part about this gadget is that it combos with the Balls of Fire star power. So this is essentially like spawning a Barley super on top of your position. You get 5 bombs, all with huge area denial when they land, and they're going directly on your location. You only have to wait a couple seconds for your turret to shoot them. This is just going to be an insane area denial from Penny, and just think about in Heist, spawning this directly on the safe is going to deal massive damage, but I think it's going to be good in tons of other situations other than just Heist. I don't think Penny's other gadget was particularly that good. Yes, it can break walls, but that doesn't always provide you that much value, and it's good for when people get close to you and you can push them away with that explosion. But I think this gadget is going to be just as good for when people get close to you, because there's just going to be an insane amount of area denial with a ton of damage. They're going to get hit by the damage from the bombs, hit by the damage from the fire if you have that star power, so I think it's just going to be a very, very good gadget. I think it's going to see a lot more play than her other gadget. Now we have the top 2. So coming in at second place is Mortis's second star power. Finally, I think Mortis is going to get a really good addition to his kit here. He's going to get faster reload for 8 seconds when he activates his gadget. Now, I'm not too sure on the exact specifics of how much his reload is being boosted. Surely he's going to gain back like an extra 2 to 3 shots minimum from these 8 seconds, and 2 to 3 extra shots is definitely more than the damage you're dealing from using his current gadget, so I think this gadget is going to see a lot more play. The first gadget is useful if you're kind of a noob and you just want more damage output immediately, but this second gadget has a lot more value over time, and I think with really good Mortis players who know how to stay alive, I think this is going to be a lot more useful. I also think this is going to make the creepy harvest star power really, really good again, because with faster reload, you don't necessarily need the coiled snake star power to run up on people, since using a lot of attacks to get close to them isn't as much of a drawback since you're going to gain them back faster. And also, creepy harvest just lets you stay alive and stay attacking for longer, and you really want to make sure you're attacking for the full 8 seconds if you want to reap all the value possible from this gadget. So I think creepy harvest is going to pair very well with this gadget, and I think we're going to see a complete shift in how Mortises are played with the introduction of this gadget. And then in first place, I am putting Bo's new gadget, and it's very simple but a very powerful effect. When you activate the gadget, you get to trigger all of your mines instantly. So this is just Penny's current gadget, but a lot better in my opinion. Obviously, you can just throw all your mines on walls and immediately destroy them. You can throw your mines on a bunch of players and immediately deal damage to them. And it's over a huge amount of area because his mines spread out a lot, and the radius on top of that is also pretty large. So just that by itself is a pretty good gadget. But what I think pushes this gadget over the top is the combination with the Snare a Bear star power. Whenever someone gets hit by one of those mines with that star power, they get stunned for a full 2 seconds. seconds. And now you can trigger this instantly whenever you want, because it's so easy to just immediately throw your super, immediately use your gadget, and then they're stunned for 2 seconds. And if they're stunned for 2 seconds, as long as you're not the only one there, it's basically a free kill on whoever you catch. And because it's over such a huge area, you might even be able to catch more than one person at a time and just instantly freeze them, instantly kill them. It's just insane. I mean, it's basically just like a Frank super, except you're a lot less vulnerable when doing it. It takes less time. I think it's just going to be the best stun combo that we have in the game. I think it's going to be super useful. I think it's way better than the super totem, although I think that still will see play in some really cheesy comps. But this gadget is just going to be very, very good, and I think it's going to be a huge buff to bow. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're super excited for the gadgets that are going to be dropping over these next couple weeks. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and go into your settings and make sure you have notifications enabled there as well. Otherwise, you won't get notifications for any other guides I post on this new update and a bunch of other Brawl Stars content. But that's all for today, guys, so see you later.